So I have sent the link in chat box for the YouTube live. Okay, now I'm making you the host, and then you can control the activity.
Okay.
You can start.
Can we start now, ma'am?
I think we should start now, because otherwise delays will be
late.
accumulated. So we will start now slowly.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, sure. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see it very clearly.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and delegates of Ctpdcon-Era 2023, the first virtual international conference on educational reforms and advancements organized by the Council for Teachers' Professional Development in collaboration with its organizing partners, KR Mangalam University, Gurugram, Galgotia University, Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, Satyug Darshan Institute of Education and Research, Faridabad, Haryana, DAV College, Dehradun, Uttarakhand, India, and Azad College of Education, Satara, Maharashtra, India. We are at the fourth technical session, that is the equitable and inclusive higher education for sustainable development. And these are the all co-chairs and moderators of this session. We are profoundly happy to associate as our conference knowledge partners with Vishwa Yuvak Kendra, New Delhi, India, Human Touch Foundation, India, Social Development and Research Foundation, India, Council for Teacher Education Foundation, India, Policy Research Center, India, and our publication partners of national and international recognition, Easy Publication, Red Shine Publications, and International Journal of Education and Allied Sciences. Now, I also welcome our track convener, Professor Tanya Gupta, Organizing Secretary, Ctpdcon-Era 2023, Dean, School of Education, KR Mangalam University, Gurugram, Haryana, and the co-convener, Track 4, Dr. Pooja Verma, Assistant Professor, School of Education, KR Mangalam University, Gurugram, Haryana. I, Dr. Binti Dua, Assistant Professor, School of Education, KR Mangalam University, is the moderator of this session. It's a great honor for me to be the moderator for this educative technical session of Ctpdcon-Era 2023. Track 4. On the theme, Equitable and Inclusive Higher Education for Sustainable Development, the sub-theme of this technical session, 4.3, is the Global 2020 Agenda of the UN Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 4. Today's session is all about equitable and inclusive higher education for sustainable development. Sustainable development is a holistic approach that seeks to balance economic, social, and environmental factors to ensure the well-being of current and future generations. Higher education plays a significant role in achieving these goals by providing the knowledge, skills, and research needed to address global challenges and foster positive change. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 4, is focused on ensuring inclusive agenda for sustainable development, outlines a set of targets and indicators aimed at promoting education as a fundamental driver of sustainable development. Now, I am delighted to have the eminent speakers and paper presenters who shall be sharing their expertise and insights in this field. I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed chair, Professor Manjula Vithana-Pathirana, is the chair professor of educational psychology at the Faculty of Education, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, and co-chair Apurva Panshikar holds the position of assistant professor at the Department of Special Education at SNDT Women's University, Mumbai, for gracing us with their presence and leading this significant session at Ctpdcon-Era 2023. I extend a warm welcome to the convener of track, Professor Tanya Gupta, Dean School of Education, Mangalam University, and also the co-convener of the track, Dr. Pooja Verma, Assistant Professor, Mangalam University. I feel honored to introduce you to Dr. Reena Tiwari Unyal, Program Director, Quality Circle CTPD, India, and Joint Secretary Ctpdcon-Era 2023. Dr. Reena Unyal Tiwari is presently working as Associate Professor, Department of Teacher Education, DAV College, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. She is MSc B.Ed, University Gold Medalist, MEd, and she cleared UGC NET and has done PhD MS Psychology from HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Uttarakhand. She has a wide experience of more than 26 years as a teacher educator and has published 30 papers in national and international journals and contributed around 17 chapters in edited book. She has been resource person and keynote speaker in 20 faculty development program, conference seminars and workshops. She also won awards, Asian Education Awards for the Best Teaching 2021, Nari Shakti Puruskar, Humanitarian Excellence Award 2022, Teacher of the Year Award 2022 by CM of Uttarakhand, GC Memorial Best Resource Person, Best Author Award. Her area of interest in teaching and research are educational psychology, teaching skills, philosophy of education, philosophy of pedagogy of science, and guidance and counseling. May I request and invite you, ma'am, to please present an overview of the plenary session 4.3. Reena Unyal, ma'am. I think she is not joined. Now, it is my honor to introduce our esteemed chair, Professor Manjula Vithana-Pathirana, is the chair professor of educational psychology at the Faculty of Education, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. She is a former dean of the Faculty of Education at the University of Colombo. She is a PhD holder from the Faculty of Education, University College, London. Professor Manjula is a past president of the Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science. She is an internationally reputed teacher educator, having over 35 years of experience of teaching, research, and policy development. She has contributed to many forums across the world. Her present interests focus on the capacity building of future educators. Ma'am, please accept as a token of gratitude from the organizers of the conference this virtual memento.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I accept it.
With your guidance, we are confident that this session will be a resounding success, leaving a lasting impact on all the participants. May I invite to chair Professor Manjula Vithana-Pathirana, Professor of Educational Psychology at the Faculty of Education, University of Colombo, to deliver his address.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we start the session now. And so let me thank first to the organization and organizers and the Dean of School of Education, Professor Tanya, and a co-chair for giving me a generous introduction about me. And thank you very much once again. And I hope all the presenters are here, and I hope they will join because the previous sessions were a little delayed, but I'm sure they will join in very soon. Okay, let's move on. So you may stream it, and I will talk.
Yes, ma'am. Sure,
yes.
I'm sharing.
Okay, thanks. So today we are having this particular session focused on the SDG 4 and the equity in higher education. So equity in higher education, as I am a teacher educator in Sri Lanka, I have chosen the theme of teacher education. And therefore, I will speak on teacher education, and you will share my PowerPoint in due course, and then we can talk about the details of what I want to talk about. So that's very clearly seen. You may put it to the full screen if you can.
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, so I'm going to speak about teacher education, teacher learning and teacher education as a role in higher education. So higher education has a responsibility for teacher education. So for being in teacher education is one of the greatest contributions that we can make to achieve the global 2030 agenda of the UN Sustainable Development Goal SDG 4. Next slide, please. So education as a discipline, education as a discipline, it's an exclusive discipline. So sciences, all kinds of sciences are also disciplines, and education is also considered as a discipline. So it has its the learning, research, and theory, and institutions, and everything on its own. So therefore, it's a discipline, and it's recognized as a discipline. So that is why we are having a huge conference today on education. So a 21st century education is about giving students the skills they need to succeed in the new world and helping them grow with confidence. So SDG 4 extends the agenda to 2030. And therefore, it is a question whether we as educators have perceived this futuristic perspective of education. So that's a question that I ask, whether we have perceived that, the futuristic, the perspective of education as a challenge for us to plan for education for the future. Next slide, please. So, teacher is the key for education. So, SDG goals cannot be attained unless teachers are effective in their professional role. The responsibility of making good teachers lies upon teacher education. If we want good teachers, we will have to work on strengthening our teacher education systems. So quality improvement of teacher education is the first step that is urgently needed for updating teachers and the whole of the education systems across the world. So teachers, although having graduated with degrees in education, face many challenges once in the system due to the issues of quality in the education programs they have undergone. There is so much of research indicating such appalling findings. Teacher learning in the 20th century has been very much focused in the theoretical assessments, learning methods, with predetermined outcomes and practices from the very demarcated disciplinary boundaries without focusing on a pragmatic approach needed in the contemporary 21st century. So contemporary 21st century is about interdisciplinarity. Let's move to the next slide, please.
Ma'am, just give us a second. There has been a little technical glitch. We are just sharing it again.
Fine. Let me try it, please.
Yes, Dr. Binti, now you can share. Yes.
Okay. You can share it from there.
Ma'am, did you share the presentation?
No. I just tried to, but I stopped it. No.
Ma'am, the person, who was handling, she has by mistake.
Then shall I share it?
Yeah, if you can share it, ma'am. That
I'll
would be
do
great.
that. I'll do
Thank
that.
you so
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah.
Yes,
apologies
ma'am,
for
you are
that.
also co-host. You can share, ma'am.
Okay, fine then.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Okay, right. So this is an urgent need. And therefore, what do we have to do? So in the morning, I was listening to several sessions of this conference. And then I got the understanding that a lot of focus is there on digitization of education. And in the presentation that I prepared for this session, also focus on one of the main challenges, we have this lack of e-readiness and techno-anxiety of the 21st century educator. So we, dealing with lifelong learning educators, so have we addressed this particular aspect in our teacher education? So understanding the changing technology is an issue for today's teachers. So with the advance of the internet and changing technology, teachers have been finding it hard to find easy but yet effective systems, platforms to run their classrooms. And the e-readiness and techno-anxiety is an unpleasant physiological activation and discomfort due to the present or future use of ICT in teachers. Lack of continuous updates of ICT knowledge and skills lead to techno-anxiety, widely reported in research. So in order to have equity in higher education, we need to have readiness, and we should have not anxiety, but happiness and the readiness to use technical tools. Teacher preparation for ICT integrated teaching was not a priority before the pandemic. Some countries, your country has had, India has had certain advancements, but Sri Lanka never did. Sri Lanka was all face-to-face teaching and learning before the pandemic. So teachers are usually not trained to deal with the problems arising from the use of technology for education. So from the sessions that I've heard in the morning also, I was listening to various efforts and to use various tools by the schools, by educators and their challenges and their efforts. So it's an encouraging thing to listen to such efforts from the globe. We need to continue the initiatives commenced during the pandemic and not convert to our usual traditional approaches to teacher education. And the challenge of making a creative and innovative teacher with the 21st century skills. So it's another challenge to meet the needs of these digital natives. So therefore, we are into a big challenge. and we have to address the needs of the Generation Z, Generation Alpha, the two generations that have grown with advanced technology, and they are the natives of the digital area. So how do we improve the quality of teacher education? So enhancing contemporary teaching skills with ICT integration is a must, And then we have to restructure the teaching practice or the internship. The traditional way of internship in schools or from away from schools is still going on in many contexts in our parts of the world. But teacher education has to consider the teachers. They are in contemporary 21st century education. So therefore, we have to make the transfer of learning to start with the teacher education program with the teaching practice, not getting it isolated from schools. And teacher educator development is also a very urgent need. So we have to consider the neuroandragogy and co-creation. Neuroandragogical research indicates the adult education has the potential to better adhere to what brain wants to do naturally, increasing both learning and memory. Many brain imaging technologies are now sensitive to changes in brain circuits and accrue from learning. So, course designers, instructors are advised to take this knowledge about the brain development and combine it with andragogy, and then strengthen the best practices in adult education, that is in higher education, either carried out in on-site or online. So it's not good enough to do it as a top-down approach, but also teacher education curricula has to be co-created and eliminate traditional top-down approaches where we produce the curricula and teachers are just there to implement it. So therefore, reimagining teacher learning and education to attain the SDG goals is the need of the day. The UNESCO report, I quote, 2022, Reimagining the Future, Developing the Teachers and Collaborative Capacity Through Teacher Education Curriculum Reform, points out the transformative work of teachers in reimagining education. So, working in collaboration, enacting the curriculum using participatory and cooperative pedagogies, while managing digital technology and engaging with educational research to reflect on their practice is a must. So what is the way forward? Changing on a broad scale requires leadership, and therefore we have to wait maybe for the policymaker, but every teacher can take steps immediately to help their students to succeed without waiting for the broader scaled up change. So presenting research and sharing efforts in this urgent need for change is highly encouraging and important. So thank you and best wishes, because we are all ready to hear the researchers' deliberations in this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your insight have left an indelible mark on all of us. I feel privileged to introduce our esteemed co-chair, Dr. Apurva Panshikar, Assistant Professor, SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. Apurva Panshikar holds the position of Assistant Professor at the Department of Special Education at SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. She possesses postgraduate degree in psychology and special education. Dr. Apurva actively engages in both pre-service and in-service teacher education program. She is a sought-after speaker, having been invited to share her expertise at national, state, and regional events, delivering over 70 informative talks. Furthermore, she serves as an expert committee member for key organizations like Rehabilitation Council of India and various academic bodies of state universities, providing valuable insights for curriculum development at different educational levels. Dr. Apurva has also played a significant role in creating study materials pertaining to special and inclusive education for universities. Her scholarly contribution include the publication of approximately 20 research papers and articles in reputable journals, as well as contributing chapters to edited books. Now, we eagerly anticipate the insights and discussion that will unfold under your guidance. Please accept.
Dr. Apurva, please accept this memento
Actually,
on behalf.
1 second, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'll stop sharing the screen. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And in fact, before Dr. Binti proceeds further, I'm really honored, Professor Manjula ji, that you have joined us, and Dr. Panchikar. Thank you for joining us. I could not be in the beginning here. I was there in another plenary track where Professor Ahuja was there and Professor Eugene were there. So on behalf of the Council for Teachers Professional Development, it is in its infancy stage, this council, and we have over 9,000 teachers across India who are working with us, and this endeavor is also, as in, of a lot of universities in India, and a lot of NGOs also working together with us. So it's a team of many people, and parallel, we are, as Madam would have told you, we are running 4 tracks that are going on. And on behalf of all of us, let me first, welcome you and extend my heartfelt gratitude to both of you to be here. And Professor Manjula ma'am, this is the second time we are meeting, and Dr. Panchikar is such a fantastic person, a great speaker, and really a good friend. And she's here with one of the most premier universities, the SNDT University, Mumbai, and she's with the Department of Special Education. So we are really grateful and welcome once again on behalf of the organizing team. Dr. Binti, you can please go ahead. Thank you. Dr. Binti, kindly unmute. Kindly unmute. Dr. Binti, kindly unmute.
Dr. Apurva, please accept as a token of gratitude from the organization of the conference, this virtual memento.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be a part of this conference, and having Professor Tanya invite me to be a part of it. It has been my big privilege. Thank you so much. I accept the memento.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we commence with the paper presentation. Let me reiterate and request the presenters to be concise and adhere to the time limit of 7 minutes for your presentation and 3 minutes for the question answer round. Before starting the presentation, I request the chair and co-chair to select one best paper presentation award, and the result of which will be declared in the valedictory session.
Madam, if may I just please add, Dr. Binti, generally the criteria that we are taking for selecting the best paper is one is the content that they are going to present, and secondly their communication and confidence through which they will present their views, and of course thirdly how the paper is coherent and aligned to the track and the overall theme of the conference. So these would be few guidelines: the content, the communication as well as the coherence to.
Okay, noted.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite our first presenter, Deepa Khatri, research scholar of School of Education, K.R. Mangalam University, Gurugram, on the topic Career Guidance and Counseling for Global Citizenship Education, a conceptual framework. Deepa Khatri.
We need to make her co-host, please, so that she can share her screen.
Participant name is Deepa Khatri.
Yes, please make her co-host.
Ma'am, I am unable to make her co-host.
No.
Wait.
The technical support would do that, Dr. Binti. That's okay.
Yes, you are now co-host. Now you can share your screen.
Yeah. Deepa, you can switch on your camera as well. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deepa Khatri, a research scholar at School of Education, K.R. Mangalam University, Gurugram. Alongside, I am a career counselor too. Today, I'm presenting my paper on career guidance and counseling for global citizenship education, a conceptual framework. And my co-author has been Dr. Tanya Gupta. Thank you, ma'am, for guiding me for the same. So, well, this paper is an attempt to understand and elucidate the contribution of guidance and counseling in reconceptualizing citizenship education and shaping global citizens, keeping sustainable development goals and world peace and harmony at its core. Citizenship has been one of the key components of Indian education system. The concept of citizenship has taken a fleet and transcended geographical boundaries. Ensuring each of us fits in the framework of global citizenship is now the key agenda of the organization. If we see the present day world, we will agree that it is facing major upheavals. War-torn countries are the reality of today's world. COVID has already damaged enough. If we wish to contain escalating unrest, global efforts are indispensable. It is imperative to cultivate global citizenship among masses. The United Nations has paved a way for nations to enable their citizens in navigating themselves towards global citizenship. However, nurturing individuals with global value is possible if each one gets an opportunity to recognize one's capabilities, talents, and interests and align them not only with their aspirations, but along with the world, and the role of career guidance and counseling proves to be of utmost importance here. When we talk about globalization, we cannot see ourselves in isolation. We cannot see ourselves in isolation. The term globalization was coined in the later part of 20th century. And from there, it has taken a leap. Globalization has drastically changed the way the world operates today. The concept of globalization that was initially about economic change is no more the same. According to the United Nations, global citizenship is the umbrella term for social, political, environmental, and economic actions of globally minded individuals that are global citizens, of course, and communities on a worldwide scale. Now, the factors that have contributed greatly towards globalization are not only the internet, which obviously paved the way towards it, but along with the advent of information society, the rise of scientific and technical civilization, and the emergence of global economic interface are also contributors towards globalization. The death of distance brought sweeping changes, though the concept is no more confined to economic exchanges. Now it has engulfed social, economic, political milieu of participating nations. So it means if we want to make our existence in globalized world, we have to be global citizens. And the world global citizenship is very wide. Global citizen is someone who understands everybody has rights and is committed to working towards a world where everyone can realize their rights. And if we see it closely, it is apt for today's world where every other country is struggling to be the part of global world, still trying to maintain its own existence. According to the United States, according to the United Nations, global citizenship is the umbrella term for social, political, environmental, and economic actions of globally minded individuals and communities on a worldwide scale. So when we talk about global citizenship, we have to understand that globalization is ubiquitous concept. And if we want the societies to be having global citizens, then we need to nurture people with the elements of global citizenship. It means that education has a role to play to make understand people what global citizenship is and what are its characteristics. So when we talk about global citizenship, then we have to understand that every individual who is curious to know about the diverse social, geographical, and political milieu of different parts of the world is entitled to be a global citizen. Along with that, open-mindedness is another ingredient to the same, where in being the part of global village, we still have respect and value to the diversity that different parts do exhibit. Higher order thinking skills or cognitive skills of higher order are of prime importance because they are the prerequisites of being global citizens so that they can contribute towards the betterment of the society. Adaptability, which is the skill everyone has to acquire to be part of global citizenship, is of prime importance because that will help them to exist in volatile and uncertain world, like the way we faced COVID situation. And then being collaborative, the way we are struggling with today's situations of unrest, collaboration is important. It will help citizens march towards a common goal of unification, where working in collaboration.
Sorry to interrupt, Ms. Deepa, kindly conclude fast. There is a time limit of 8 minutes.
Sure. Okay.
Dr. Binti, please take care of time.
Yeah, please. I'll be brief with the points. So cross-cultural understanding. And on the top of it, the core topic today, which we have been talking about since yesterday, is sustainability. That is again a characteristic that has to be developed in global citizens. And then we talk about global citizens. We talk about sustainable development goals and education. Then we have to understand that the United Nations has formulated 17 sustainable development goals, wherein education, which is sustainable development goal 4, is of prime importance. And here, every individual should have the opportunity to upskill oneself, to be productive for the society, and to contribute towards sustainability. As we have already talked about global citizenship with the time limit, I'll just come to the final part of the topic, that is how career guidance and counseling for global citizenship is important. As I already have discussed that to become a global citizen, we have to be productive. We cannot burden the society with being non-productive. So herein the role of career guidance and counseling is of prime importance, because this is where people get to understand their interests, aspirations, and talents, and effective career guidance and counseling would enable them to actually take well-informed career decisions that lead them towards becoming global fit. And this would give them clarity on career objectives. They'll be able to self-analyze and see where do they fit in the society. Skill development, with the kind of situations we saw during COVID, it is imperative to be aware of how you can transit from one situation to another, one skill to another, if such kind of situation arrives. So that is again the role of career guidance and counseling. And supporting transition, not only at local level, if one plans to relocate it in any part of the world, that is again the role of career guidance and counseling to make people be global citizens. As a conclusion, when the world seeks to foster individuals with the spirit of global citizenship, we have to impart people with global citizenship education, and also we have to focus towards sustainable development goals as the UN has formulated, and the role of career counseling and guidance is of prime importance. Here, I would want to just focus on one very important part, that career guidance and counseling is no more a prerogative of elite society. It is the need of hour, because that will only help every individual to be an integral part of thriving society wherein nobody is a burden. So here, the overall concept is, then if we want to focus on sustainability, we want a unified world, then we have to look into helping people understand their abilities and to let them be fit to the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Any questions from the participant side?
Are we taking the questions now or at the end of all presenters presentation?
Yes.
I think it will be better if we take questions at last, no?
Sure,
Yes,
ma'am.
I think
Yes.
so. Yes, please.
Please,
So
Deepa,
please carry
stop
on with-
sharing.
Thank you so much.
Yes. We can go to the next presentation. And also, I urge everybody to presenters to adhere to time. Don't take much time for the first part of the paper. Try to sort of highlight what you have found and what you recommend, please. Yes. Thank you.
Deepa, may I request you to please stop sharing your screen? Yes, thank you so much. Now I invite the second participant, Ms. Anita Sahai, Assistant Professor, Satyugdarshan Institute of Education and Research, Faridabad, on the topic, the targets and expected outcomes of UN Sustainable Development Goals of the Global 2030 Agenda are reviewed. Ms. Anita Sahai? Yes.
Good afternoon.
Kindly, participants, sorry to interrupt you. Please adhere to the time limits.
Yeah,
Only 7 minutes.
yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to all honorable delegates of this international conference, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I am Anita Sahai, Assistant Professor, Satyugdarshan Institute of Education and Research, Faridabad, Haryana, India. And the title of my paper is The Target and Expected Outcomes of UN Sustainable Development Goal 4 of the Global 2020-2030 Agenda are reviewed. The overview of my presentation is Introduction, Objective and Methodology, Significance of Education in Sustainable Development Goal, Sustainable Development Goal 4 and its targets, expected outcomes, initiative taken by Indian government to attain sustainable development in education, challenges, the way forward, discussion, suggestions and conclusion. Now, introduction is Sustainable Development Goal is just like a blueprint designed to achieve better and sustainable future for all. It is a group of 17 interlinked global goals. This ambitious program of the people, by the people and for the people was developed by the United Nations General Assembly during its 70th session in 2015 and are to be achieved by 2030. These Sustainable Development Goals are based on 5 pillars of the 2030 Global Agenda. That is people, planet, prosperity, peace and partnership. Without education, development of any kind are not possible. So, education play a central theme of 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Recognizing its pivotal role, the United Nations included quality education as one of the Sustainable Development Goal that is under Goal 4. Goal 4 is quality education that mainly ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. The main objective of this study is to explore Sustainable Development Goal 4 and the significance of education in sustainable development, to provide a comprehensive overview of Sustainable Development Goal 4, its targets, and what initiatives are taken by the Indian government to attain sustainable development in education, to analyze the contribution of Sustainable Development 4 to brighter and more sustainable future for all. In terms of methodology, this review article is based on qualitative approach with reference to notable studies and projects. This article shared and discussed results in narrative way. And source of data is totally based on secondary data, which is collected from notable studies, projects, extended reports of UNSD, journals, articles, reputed newspaper, write-ups, and websites. Now, significance of education in sustainable development goal. First is raising awareness and fostering understanding about pressing global goals such as climate change, biodiversity loss, social inequality. Secondly, building knowledge and skills that is necessary to tackle sustainability challenges and also develop critical thinking and problem solving among people. Thirdly is fostering a sense of responsibility towards environment and society. Fourth one is promoting sustainable lifestyle by teaching individuals about the benefit of consuming responsibly, reducing waste, adopting eco-friendly habits. Next one is driving innovation and research, which is an essential part of sustainable development. And one more is advancing global goal. As we all know that education contribute to ending poverty, reducing inequality, promoting gender equality, health, well-being, and addressing climate change, peace, sustainability, among other sustainable development goals. Now, the targets, what are the targets? There are 10 targets, and among these 10 targets, 7 targets are having expected outcomes, and the remaining 3 are the means of achieving these targets. The target number 1, 4.1 is related to quality primary and secondary education for all. Means that all girls and boys must receive free and equitable high quality primary and secondary education by 2030. Second target is about early childhood and pre-primary education. That is equal access to quality pre-primary education so that they can make ready for primary education. And the goal 4.3 is equal access to affordable technical, vocational and higher education. Target 4.4 is related to skill for decision work, mainly increase the number of people with relevant skills for financial success. And goal 4.5 is gender equality and equal access for all. That is elimination of all kind of discrimination in education and equal access to all people, including people with disability, ethnic people, children in vulnerable conditions. Now, next point is 4.7, sustainable development goal and global citizenship. Means education that include need and importance of sustainable development and global citizenship for survival of the planet. Now, 3 means of implementation. 4.8 tells about safe and inclusive learning environment should be provided to the students, because school should be inclusive and safe, where the students have to access drinking waters, basic sanitation, internet, computer infrastructure that is also adapted to the needs of the students with disabilities. And 4.B tells about a scholarship for higher education, so that it should increase the enrollment of students in all levels of education. And goal 4.C is about teachers and educators with minimum required qualification. Means that professional development of the teachers should be increased as extended report compiled by Statistic Division of United Nations Development of Department of Economic and Social Affairs dated 30th April 2023 said that globally over 14% of teachers are not still qualified according to the national standard. And Sub-Sahara African faces biggest challenges among them. Now, the expected outcomes. What are these are the increased literacy and numeracy and gender equality in education. Means the elimination of all type of gender disparities, inclusive education, which include all type of people, mainly children with special needs or disabilities or vulnerable persons, relevant and quality education, safe and learning environment, increase access to higher education, skill development, so that it may increase employability and entrepreneurship opportunities to all, and global cooperation. Now, next is the initiatives taken by the Indian government to achieve the sustainable development in education.
Ma'am, please kindly conclude.
Okay. Among the initiative, Indian government has taken steps in NEP 2020, and the SWAM is the another program. SWAM and National Library is also given to them, and URAN is the CBSE, which taken by CBSE scholarship program, which is given to the female students, and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Saksham is for disabled students. And Swami Vivekananda Single Child Scholarship also for students who are having problems in financial problems. Pragati is started by AICTE, and Ishan Udan is for students of Northeast region. And on a state level also, Mukhyamantri Balika Cycle Yojana was started, and each one teach one, and reaching to out of a school children. So now the challenges, and what are the challenges facing, and how to it is all discussed here. Millions of children are still lack of education due to poverty, conflict, discrimination. So rigorous efforts from governments, NGOs, and international communities are required. Now next is quality disparities. Inequalities in quality of education persist within and between the country. So to get rid of this issue, investment in teachers training, curriculum development, infrastructure also required. Technological divide, the digital divide worsen educational equalities, and especially at the time of COVID-19 pandemic. So we should have to bridge these type of gaps to ensure the quality education. And last one is many countries are facing funding limitations for education. So mobilizing resources and international support is also essential. Now I am coming to the conclusion that although these are some barriers, but for fulfillment of these goals are essential for betterment of the people and world. So to overcome these challenges, community participation and collaborative partnerships are essentially required. And moreover, public awareness should be raised so that because it is related to ensure the inclusive and equitable high quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all, mostly the people who are underprivileged children, children with the rural and remote area, person with disability, indigenous ethnic people, and refugee people. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I invite the third participant, Ms. Shalini Sharma, Assistant Professor, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, on creating an effective environment for lifelong learning for all. Ms. Shalini.
Yes, can you share my PPT?
Yes, you can share. You
You can share.
share.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 second.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Shalini Sharma, Assistant Professor, Saraswati College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. Today, I'm going to present my presentation on the topic, creating an effective environment for lifelong learning. Ma'am, please share. Shall we start? Can I resend you? Lifelong learning is the ongoing voluntary self-motivated pursuit of knowledge for either personal or professional. It is not limited to formal education, but can take place through a variety of informal and non-formal means, such as reading, attending workshops, taking online courses, or simply, ma'am, please, next slide. Simply talking to experts in the field of competitiveness, employability, social and professional development. Benefits of lifelong learning. The next slide. There are many benefits of lifelong learning. Lifelong learning are more likely to be successful in their careers. They are happy, fulfilled. Also help people to stay connected to their community and the world around us. Overall, lifelong learning is important because it helps to be more successful. The power of lifelong learning. Unlock your potential and embrace the transformative journey to lifelong learning. Discover the benefits, strengths, strategy, resources, fuel for your potential growth. Now, next slide. Benefits of lifelong learning. Continuous growth, expand your knowledge, skills, ability, ensuring personal and professional development throughout your life. Explore yourself, improve adaptability, stays ahead to rapidly changing world and embracing new ideas, technology, and perspective. Enhanced well-being, boost your confidence, motivation, and sense of purpose while fostering a curious and open mindset. Overall, lifelong learning is important because it has helped you to be more successful. Ma'am, next slide. Challenges and barriers. There are many challenges and barriers in our life to take time constant, like find effective time management technique to priorities learning amidst busy schedule. बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे होते हैं कि हमेशा उनको सभी के पास 24 आवर्स होते हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोग लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीजें कर लेते हैं और कुछ लोग हमेशा टाइम को लेकर उनके पास एक्सक्यूजेस होते हैं कि हमें टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, और बहुत सारी चीजें इस तरह की करते हैं कि उनको इस तरह का रिग्रेट रहता है कि हर समय एक्सक्यूज बनाते हैं, टाइम पे काम पूरा नहीं करते हैं, सीखने के लिए उस चीज को वो नहीं कर पाते हैं. Financial factors, discover affordability to free learning resources and explore scholarship and grant opportunities. आप देखते हैं जो बच्चा पढ़ना चाहता है या किसी को अगर सीखने की चाहत होती है तो वो अपने लिए रिसोर्सेज को ढूंढ ही लेता है कि जो उसको फाइनेंस या उसको स्कॉलरशिप प्रोवाइड कर सके या उसके लिए सेल्फ डाउट. Overcome fears to failure and embrace a growth mindset and encourages experimentation and learning from mistakes. Comfort zone challenges yourself to step outside your comfort zone and embrace new challenges and facilitate learning and growth. तो कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर निकलिए, अपने आप को एक्सप्लोर कीजिए, इस तरह की स्ट्रैटेजीज बनाइए, क्लियर गोल सेट बनाइए, डाइवर्स लर्निंग मेथड्स को यूज कीजिए, कोलैबोरेटिव discuss ideas, share insight to enhance our learning experiences, develop interest, join classes. इस टाइम तो अब ब्लेंडेड मोड में तो या ऑनलाइन लर्निंग के एरिया में, मतलब को आफ्टर कोविड तो हमारे पास इतनी सारे फैसिलिटीज है कि हम ऑनलाइन मेथड्स यूज करके भी अपनी जो सीखने की चीज है उसको, जो सीखने की इच्छा है उसको खत्म नहीं कर सकते, और उसके साथ साथ हम अपना लर्निंग को जारी रख सकते हैं. मैम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. मैम resources, continuous growth, adaptation to change, expanded horizons. These are the strategies of for effective lifelong learning. Embrace, set clear goals. तो जिस तरह से अर्जुन को सिर्फ अपना गोल उस मछली की आंख की तरह दिखाई दिया, इसी तरह से हमें भी अपने जो गोल सेट करते हैं, उस गोल सेट करने के बाद उस गोल के अलावा कुछ नहीं दिखाई देना चाहिए. Define your learning objectives and create a roadmap to guide your learning journey. Embrace diverse learning methods. Explore a range of resources, including books, courses, podcasts, and interactive online platforms to find what works best for you. Collaborate and share. Engage to the communities of learner, discuss ideas, share insight to enhance your learning experiences. And next slide. Next.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please conclude.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay. Lifelong learning resources. If you are a learner, software engineer, if you are a teacher, lifelong learning can help you stay up to date on the latest teaching method and technologies. This can help you to be more effective teacher, to be better educate your student. If you are a stay home, lifelong learning can help you to learn new skill and to stay connected. Lifelong learning resources like libraries, e-learning platforms, membership programs, these are help to you learn and learn more. Next. Move to the next. Move to the next. These are the examples. Incorporating lifelong learning every day. Cultivate curiosity, diversity, your interest, and reflect and reviews. Next. Conclusion. Never stop growing. Lifelong learning empowers your personal and professional growth, enhancing adaptability, well-being, and overall potential. Embrace the journey, overcome challenges, and engage with diverse resources, and surround yourself with a community and learner to enrich your lifelong learning experiences. Start today. Take the first step on your lifelong learning journey and unlock a world of opportunity and personal fulfillment that never stop learning. Learn, learn, learn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I invite our next participant, Nupur Bhandari, research scholar, Himgiri Z University, Dehradun, on the topic, the Global 2030 Agenda, Vocational Education and Sustainable Development Goals in Indian Context. Ms. Nupur Bhandari. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Nupur Bhandari. I'm research scholar from Himgiri University, and Dr. Charu Sharma is my guide, and she is assistant professor in Himgiri University as well as HOD too. My topic is the Global Agenda 2030 Agenda, Vocational Education and Sustainable Development Goal in the Indian context. Can I start? Ma'am, next slide, please. My outline of presentation is the first slide show the introduction. Second will be the Global Agenda 2030. Third will be the research objective and methodology. Fourth will be sustainable target in relation to vocational aspect. Fifth and sixth slide show the implementation of NEP, that is 2020. On vocational aspects. Seventh will be show the mission and schemes regarding training and skill program in India. The slide show the conclusion and achievement. Next, ma'am. As you know, VET is a terminology used for vocational educational training, and it has a prominent place in 2030 agenda as equal access and affordable high quality VET is a target of SDG 4.3 and 4.7, which is a target goal of SDG. India presently, as you know, have a young population, potential to enter in a labor market, but their potential to contribute to the economic greater detail in the labor market. According to MOSPI, they are saying that if we are not focusing the young population into a labor market, then there is a great urgency that there will be show a decline in a skill labor by 2036. Even now, only 3 to 4% of the world is. Ma'am, I can't see my slide properly.
I think you should be very brief about your slides because your slides are very lengthy. Don't try to sort of read out each and every line.
Okay. Just give a brief. Okay, next. As you know, Global 2030 agenda, especially the focus is on quality education, which is the vocational aspect is a consisting part of Goal 4. Next slide. My objective of the study is to evaluate the functional of vocational education as a phase of SDG 4, analyze the coverage of NEP 2020 on vocational education, and existing the modern popularity of vocational training in Indian context. My design will be an explanatory research design, and my source of data is according to authorities of India, journals, articles, and reputable website and various documents. As we know, SDG goal, as I said, that the goal 4 is important for quality education, and its part, the target 4.4 is for skill for decent work, and 4.7 education for sustainable development and global citizenship is for achieving that we have a vocational well-being of the people, and various studies support this target too. Like Blanche Flower 2019, McKinley, Hubner 2018, Hamburg 2020, and for target 4 it is Askarov and Vardolajak 2021. They are supporting this target in the form of SDG improvement for a vocational aspect. Implementation of NEP, as we know, NEP bring a drastic change in an Indian education system, and our status for vocational and various aspects cover in it, like status of vocational education. NCIVE, that is National Committee for Integration of Vocational Education, has been set up to provide a sector skilled worker in this field exposure to vocational education from class 6th onward. We have one vocation as a particular subject for a student in every school. Improving social perception of vocational education, like skill-based aptitude test will be taking regularly in schools to know the vocational perspective of the students. Curriculum and assessment. Curriculum should be that it is based on problem total learning PBL method, and promoted school and colleges should improve vet trainers. Teacher training should also be provided by DIET and PSSCIV, that is Pandit Sundarlal Sharma Central Institute of Vocational Education, which is set up in Bhopal to provide especially vocational aspects of education to the undergraduate or postgraduate students. Strengthening PSS, CIV, and state level infrastructure for the students, and for SIV it is compulsory to provide a infrastructure facility to the trainings and skill enhancement students. Strengthening the school education. Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneur have been specially focused to strengthen the NCIVE in every aspect. And if we see present status of vocational education at higher study, the All India School Education Survey has been conducted. It showed that the place is 38995 instructor has been enrolled in pre-vocational course, out of which 64.42 is male, 35.58 is female, and pre-vocational course of 45.79 is from private aided, 30.58 from government, 23.63 in private unaided school. A total of 573 of school offering pre-vocational course in present agenda, in present scenario. Out of which 2485, 43.35 are government, and accompanied by 35.5 from private aided, and relaxation are from private unaided. Next. Various skill and employability mission, as Miss Anita also discussed about this mission and targets. That is Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan, Sankalp, Kushal Bharat, Kaushal Bharat, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, National Policy on Family Spirit, Skill Loan Scheme, National Skill Development. All these are focused especially on the target of SDG and vocational aspect in an Indian context. IBF, that is I don't know the acronym. India has become the most populous. According to that 500 million people between the ages of 5 to 24, they are saying that they are for a training and skill. They are working for a training and skill development. So we should focus on this type of people, this age group firstly. The ministry specialization program is also being enhanced according to NEP in secondary and higher secondary level. Even my research study is on vocational education, in which I am studying Navodaya Vidyalaya student and their vocational perspective. As we know that central government has been applying vocational education scheme towards Navodaya students. So I am just focusing it, and my research is on middle level. I'm collecting data from Navodaya student. The Ministry of Skill, Entrepreneurship and National Skill Development Corporation, UGC, also support this program, that is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushal Kendra Community College Vocational Bachelor Course, and key stakeholder in the implementation to the state government. All the program which the central government run, state government is also a part of it. So national NSDC and SSC and NSDC training partners, or are the complementary, as they work in a complementary manner. So the skill development is on a way. And now I want to conclude that new education policy is in conformity with SDG 4. As we know, quality of education is improving, but the true is to how, if education is just improving, it is not a worth it. But we should develop the person mind to the vocational perspective, that his skill should be developed with his education. Vocational education, this is for the first time that realize the importance of cognitive development during the preschool phase of child in NEP 2020. And as we know, European country, as they are, why they are always a big hand, in a development phase, we see that they are developed. Why they are developed? Because they have if they implement any plan, they have a models toward it. So they are starting, they have their vocational education training models, which are supported by both private and government sector. So we should apply this type of method with the SDG and NEP to accompany with them. And we can, and as a country, India, we have we will मतलब हम आगे चल के ऐसे बन सकेंगे कि हम अपने आप को स्किल, जो ये योजनाएं हैं हमारी भारत सरकार की, इसको कुशल बनाएंगे, और जो सस्टेन है, जो हम एज अ बच्चों में देखना चाहते हैं, वो हमें एक्चुअली दिखेगा कि कोई compete कर रहा है वर्ल्ड लेवल में. तो स्किल शुड बी दैट. The Service Shiksha Abhiyan and Right to Education have greatly boosted Indian education. Vocational education will be built into instructional option for all secondary in a phased manner or a subsequent decade. मतलब changes लाते रहना है. अगर vocational aspect में भी आपको थोड़ा लगता है कि इसमें भी changes आना चाहिए, वर्ल्ड से compete करना है या फिर किसी से compete करना है, ये नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो we should change it. वो पुराना ओल्ड मेथड नहीं चलेगा अगर vocational aspect हमें आगे देखना है बच्चों में. That's all. Thank you for that. So this is my references, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Nupur. Please stop sharing.
Okay, ma'am.
Now I call Miss Kevika, B.Ed student, School of Education, K.R. Manglam University, Gurugram.
Participants are requested to adhere to the timeline, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Just give me a
Miss
second.
Kevika, are you there? Yes.
Yes.
These presenters are requested to adhere to timeline.
Can you see my screen? Am I audible?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone, all the dear delegates who are here today. My paper is on the sustainable development in the pedagogical space, what is and what can be. I am Kevika Bali, B.Ed student teacher from the School of Education, K.R. University, Gurgaon. And my co-authors on this paper are Smriti, who is my peer, and Dr. Tanya Gupta, who's our dean. Moving on to the next slide. Basically, this paper is an intersection of the SDG Goal 4 as per the United Nations, which is on education, and the pedagogy which has been proposed by John Dewey, which is basically known as learning by doing. And to clarify a little more on his pedagogy, if you can see in the right in the center of the screen. So it's basically setting up a context for learning, a very clear context for learning, then encouraging hands-on learning in the classrooms, using a skill-based approach, and inclusivity, which is basically democracy in class. John Dewey was a very big proponent of democracy in class, where everybody has a voice and everybody gets equal airtime to speak. Now, this has been seen from the perspective of students. So I also have a student feedback, which I've taken, so that we can look at the pedagogical practices that are happening in class today. Okay, so I think everybody knows about the sustainability goal 4. However, if I were to see it from our perspective, it is that everyone deserves an inclusive, a just, and relevant education, which will develop certain skills and attitudes in all of us, so that we become a part of the society and we achieve what is best for us and for others. And that in our learning is sustainability in education, right? And so there are certain presuppositions that happen. For example, inclusive learning presupposes a non-judgmental, safe space where children can learn. A relevant education is offering, connection with the real life activities, what we are actually going to do in life. Our skills and attitudes are, basically allowing us to use what is God gifted to us and basically to create curious and happy learners. So that's the vision that we have of this. Okay, so very quickly about John Dewey, we all know that he was a pragmatist. And what he said is, although it's very complicated, but in my presentation, just to make it very simple, is that children learn best from the environment. And so the children, and when they interact with the environment, they start making ideas and thoughts about understanding their environment. And there is a huge loop of feedback which happens between the environment and the child, wherein the quality of thoughts that the child develops will actually control the responses of the child to the environment. Also, what he said is that this happens specifically so that the adaptation of our children to their environment, because it's so new, can happen, so that they adapt to the environment. So the more they interact with the environment, the more the adaptation happens, and more the adaptation happens, more they can interact with the environment. So it's a continuous feedback loop. Okay, so the context of the paper is actually very well defined by this article in the Quint, which basically shows you that what is the learning levels and what are the reading levels of children who are in mainly the rural areas in India. And children who are, say, for example, 50% of all children in class 5 were not able to read a class 2 textbook also fluently. Or you have 75% of children in class 3 who are not able to read a class 2 book fluently. So it is all about the reading and the writing and the numeracy outcomes, which we are not meeting as of today. So that, in fact, has propagated certain thoughts which we've put down, as in what is the sustainability in the space of pedagogy? What pedagogy we are following in our classrooms today, are they sustainable? How do we bridge the gap between the pedagogy and the pedagogue? Because that also we found that a lot of teachers are not happy with the pedagogy that they are, or rather, they are not steeped in thoroughly with the pedagogy that they are using. Also, how can we bridge any gap? Are there any possible solutions? So the objectives of the paper were basically to compare the pedagogical practices in today's classrooms with Dewey's model, identify the gaps between the two, and suggest possible solutions. The method for research basically we've used is a quantitative research, and we've used a closed-ended survey. We've basically offered multiple choice questions to school-going children.
Conclude,
Again,
Kevika.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Please conclude.
Sure. So there was this research basically, which the findings of that are, although we are using pedagogical approaches of John Dewey in our classrooms, but maybe they are not up to the level that we
एक Marlboro लाई गई.
I'm sorry. Just to conclude, I'll conclude right away. So basically, from the children's perspective, whatever data we gathered, based on that, our conclusion is that we should make our classrooms safe and non-judgmental space where children are free to speak up their mind, to also, so that learning will happen better. We can structure the content with relevance and give a real world pictures then. We can also develop critical thinking by giving more hands-on experiences so that cognitive connections can be made. And we can also have skill-based classes. And the last and the main point is we have to foster curiosity and independence and thought and action. So that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kevika.
Thank you. I hope I adhere to the time.
Stop sharing your screen.
Yes, ma'am. Just.
The next participant is Swati Tulsan, research scholar, Calcutta University, West Bengal, on the topic understanding various factors of lifelong learning and its prevalence among college students. Ms. Swati, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, we can see, we can hear you.
A very good afternoon to all the delegates and all the judges over here. It's my privilege to present in front of you. My name is Swati Tulsan, and my colleagues and some research scholars over here have actually very eloquently described the need for sustainable developmental goals and how the UN is consistently working. One thing which very elucidly sort of came out was the fact that for something to be sustainable, it has to be long term, and education is one of these factors which has to be long term, and it cannot stop. Education doesn't stop at any stage of life. And in this context, I have done a research on lifelong learning and what is its prevalence, especially amongst college students. I want to see what is that disposition which is there, and to understand why we need lifelong learning. We can also understand its definition, which was given by the Nation of Lifelong Learners in 1997, that it is a continuously supportive process which stimulates and empowers individuals to acquire all the knowledge, values, skills, and understanding that they will require throughout their lifetime, and to apply them with confidence, creativity, and enjoyment in all roles, circumstances, and environments, which means that it is a very holistic element or aspect of an individual's life, and it sort of empowers them or enables them to use their skills and knowledge throughout their lifespan, and not just restrict till their educational setup or till graduation or post-graduation. And in this context, Cropley and Napper, whose tool I will be using and describing a little later, actually came up with the 5 most prominent characteristics of lifelong learners, or to understand what actually makes a lifelong learner a lifelong learner. The 5 most prominent characteristics are setting effective goals. So their goal setting is spot on. Applying appropriate knowledge and skills. The knowledge which they have to utilize it properly. Engaging in self-direction and evaluation. Guiding themselves in respect to where and how to utilize their education. Locating required information as per the need and demand of the situation, and adapting learning strategies to different conditions to not be restrictive in the way they are functioning. There is a standardized tool developed by Crockley and Napper of it's a Likert scale of 14 statements, and I administered that on 100 students. This was done through the purposive sampling method, and it was done through a Google form. It was done virtually, and the students whom I had taken for the purpose of this study were in the second and final year of graduation. I wanted to see their disposition towards lifelong learning in future, and the results have been grouped according to the 5 characteristics which we have just discussed. The first one, which was goal setting, it was seen that according to the mean and standard deviation, that most of the respondents sort of centered around the mean or were scoring average in terms of goal setting. Secondly, where there was the criteria was to apply appropriate knowledge and skills. This is one of the areas where they scored relatively high, which indicates to the fact that students today know how to apply whatever knowledge which they have. So we can kind of understand that, with the advent of technology, or with the fact that, today the world is actually becoming smaller. Everything is very interconnected. They know exactly how to apply and, how to kind of have access to whatever is required and can be utilized in various manners. The third subcategorization or division which was there, which was engaging in self-direction and self-evaluation, where they kind of modify their learning strategies, or they kind of evaluate whether they are up to the mark with the demands of the situation and the needs. This is again an area where they scored relatively higher, which indicates towards the fact that today lifelong learning in terms of self-direction and self-evaluation. So graduation students know how to kind of maneuver their potentials, or to kind of, change or modify their strategies in accordance to the need of the situation. When it came to locating required information, it was seen that, again, the results were pretty average, showing that students can locate information when required or wherever required, but sometimes they have difficulty applying it in practicality. So it may be a little more theoretical, or it may be more superficial. And finally, the last category which was there, which was adapting learning strategies to different conditions. Here too, we saw that the results were, the mean was pretty average, and there was a linear kind of approach which was there, which means that despite learning, the application of the knowledge is something of a dubious nature, something which can be worked on. Based on these results, it could be concluded that lifelong learning dispositions, or the potential of lifelong learning, is still having a neutral standpoint. It's not that lifelong learning, because it is the need, we still see that there is a sort of lacuna which is there amongst students today. However, two dimensions or two subcategories, namely application of knowledge and skills and self-direction and learning, these are the two areas where they have scored high, which shows that they do have a disposition towards, or college students today do have a disposition towards applying what they know and directing their learning accordingly. As a suggestion, or as to kind of enhance this knowledge further, it can be said that in order to match the sustainable developmental goals, in order to keep the NEP in practice, what we can focus on while teaching in the formal setup is to kind of focus on the other areas like goal setting, or locating required information, and more importantly, adapting learning strategies to different conditions. The other 3 areas where the students are not scoring very high, these can be the focus areas while we are administering, or when we are teaching our students, to enable and to enhance these skills in them as well. These have been my references for this particular study and for this particular presentation. with this, I would like to conclude.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Swati. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the next participant is Prasanta Barik, Higher Secondary School, Lakhimpur, Assam. Ms. Prasanta, are you there? Next participant, Smita Thakre, Academic Coordinator, Titans Public School, Amravati, Maharashtra. Smita ma'am, are you there? Dr. Pushpakarni Panchamukhi, Associate Dean, School of Education Economics, RV University, Bangalore. Dr. Charu Sharma, Assistant Professor, Himgiri Zir University, Uttarakhand. Charu ma'am, are you there? So now I think we should conclude this session.
We have a question session. Questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. We can entertain questions from the listeners. And are there any questions on the presentations that we have had? We have had 6, isn't it? Yeah. So we have, so any questions from the audience?
Any participants who wants to ask any question from the presenters or any other type of question you have? You may ask, or you can write on the chat box also. I think, ma'am, there's no questions from
No questions.
Yeah.
Very clear, everything. So we can then go ahead with the next
Okay,
step. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. We are indeed gaining a wealth of knowledge today. May I invite co-chair Dr. Apurva Panshikar to summarize the session and address the participants of the session. Apurva ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Binti ma'am, for inviting me to summarize the session. So very good afternoon to everyone. And I'm delighted to be here with you all for the first international.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible.
Yeah.
I think
you are not audible.
Is this better?
No, no.
Yes.
Bit louder would be preferable.
Yeah, would that be, is that better?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Now it's fine.
Fine.
Thank you. Okay, so my apologies. It's technology and at time it fails us. So a very good afternoon, as I was saying, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you for the first international conference on educational reforms and advancements, which is organized by the Council for Teachers' Professional Development. So with the permission of the chair, Professor Manjula, I take forward my responsibility of summarizing this plenary session. The plenary session 4.3, it was on the theme, the Global 2030 Agenda of the UN Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 4. So today we were able to have 6 presentations. And these presentations were conceptual presentations. Some of them were research presentations. However, it's a little reservation that I have about whether the presentations which were called research presentations and which followed according to the presenters a qualitative approach would actually warrant to be called so. According to me, they were more about, you were doing a little more of a literature review, and that was scoping review to be able to determine and set a stage for further research that you may have been interested in undertaking. However, when we look at the kind of topics that were covered, the range from career guidance to looking at lifelong learning, which according to me is a very, very crucial aspect of the SDG 4. Then there was also a review of what the UN SDG 4 aimed to achieve and what it is achieving in the Indian context. I think a lot of the presentations were focusing on India, the effort that the government is making towards taking SDG 4 very, very seriously. And now with the implementation of NEP 2020, we are really, really making those strides. If I have to go through the, presentation by presentation, these are a few of my observations. I was very excited to hear from Deepa Khatri on career guidance and counseling and global citizenship. And as a psychologist, I was wanting to see what kind of these specific career guidance and counseling strategies could be recommended for global citizenship to be developed in the students, because it's a very, very important topic according to me. We have been talking about, developing citizens, developing, again, the focus being very, very local. But if we have to be talking about global citizenship, and we have a whole list of characteristics of this global citizenship, what could those specific strategies be? I was very, very keen to look at it. And yes, of course, career guidance, counseling, all these do matter. But I wonder there could be something more. So I really urge Deepa, if you could think about it. I found Anita Sai's presentation on the SDGs, how they are achieving, what are the barriers and the solutions. I would say a very comprehensive kind of a review you were able to do of the content, of the context, and bring forth not just the challenges and the barriers, because I think that is something that we all are very attuned to, finding out what the deficits are, what the problems are, but not taking a forward view in terms of identifying how these challenges can be met. So I was very happy to listen to you talk about these specific solutions that you're coming up with. Shalini Sharma spoke about creating environment, the effective environment for lifelong learning. And even she was able to identify some challenges, some barriers, some of the strategies. Yes, of course, for me, these strategies could have been more pinpointed. They could have been more to do with self-regulation, to do with collaboration. And if a little, drawing from the experiences, it would have mattered a lot. Because I think we all need to be on a problem-solving mode than just saying, okay, oh, in theory, this exists, but what is it that is actually happening? Because I'm sure that we may not be very great at documenting and researching, but I'm sure that we are doing a lot at the grassroots level. And even saying that this was an action research that was undertaken, which may not have been documented, but an action research taken, and this is what it is telling me, provides a lot of impetus and a lot of motivation for all who are in the field of education today. I think here, the whole discussion on the TPAC model, the technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, that's a very important framework and model that we need to be looking at today, be it with regard to vocational education, or even be it with regard to the pedagogical space, as Kevika was telling us about. So with regard to Dewey and learning by doing, what is it that the students are experiencing? Could we bring in a little element of more equitability, more equity, looking at inclusivity, the kind of space that children actually want, providing them with more inclusive educational pedagogies, which, yes, they do marry a lot of your learning by doing It is based in neurosciences. It looks at identifying and addressing diversities all across, not just disability-based diversities. And I think, when we talk about these inclusive pedagogies, be it a pedagogy like a universal design for learning, or be it a differentiated instruction, it is going to be drawing on even understanding the lifelong learning factors in college students. We need to be focusing on self-regulation. We need to be focusing on self-management. We need to be looking at how learners can be made responsible in making decisions about accessing the kind of information that they need, which they know is going to be applicable in given situations, given contexts, and knowing that each task that is undertaken is a respectful task. Even having to go to a library and search for a book is indicative of a respectful task, which is showing a lot of self-regulation and management to forward my learning. The focus on goal setting, on adapting various learning strategies, I strongly believe needs to be taught right from the school age if we want sustainable education to be achieved. Sustainable education, as one of the participants was saying, is something that will be that will be able to carry forward. It's not going to be teacher-centric. It's not going to be teacher-directed. So if we have to look at learner-centered pedagogies, if we have to look at inclusive pedagogies, if we have to be looking at going beyond and being able to place ourselves another 20 years down the line, we need a change in the way we conceptualize inclusivity, diversity, inclusion, as well as understanding sustainability. And I think in this context, I would want to talk about the inclusive learning environment and the importance of professional development of teachers to carry this forth. I would like to tell you about one particular research that we had undertaken, and it is published now. And this completely focused on training teachers teacher educators in 4 developing countries. And we wanted to see that when they are taught, when they are trained in an inclusive pedagogy like a universal design for learning, what kind of changes do we see? And at what levels do the changes take place? So using a completely universal design for learning approach to intervention, we were able to see that yes, absolutely, teacher educators do show a beautiful learning curve. This kind of a learning curve was the same for male teachers, it was the same for female teachers. However, there was one very concerning finding for us. And you know what the concerning finding was? That the newly qualified teachers, those who have got lesser years of experience, they were the ones who benefited from this professional development training as compared to the ones with around 30 years of experience, 35 years of experience. And we were really perplexed about it. We were perplexed because we really felt that the experts, the senior faculty, the ones who are guiding the newly trained teachers or the newly trained teacher educators should be at the forefront to bring in the new pedagogies. However, sadly, they were now not the ones to show that kind of learning. And we found, that there was research which said that there is a little of being complacency that comes in. You just don't feel like doing anything more because you've been working for a really long time. However, newer teachers were more attuned to the required changes. They felt that this is something that is needed today. They could have been, they could have experienced that, yes, I was taught using a very, very teacher-centered pedagogical approach, and it didn't benefit me, or I did not feel equally engaged in the classroom. And maybe they felt that they needed to change for their students. I think we as researchers, when we undertook this, that had a great implication, because I'm a teacher educator. And I realize that if and only if I, as a teacher educator, imbibe in me what these inclusive pedagogies are, only if I implement those pedagogies during my teacher education programs, will I be able to see a change in my pre-service teachers. And I can really hope that they take it forward into their classrooms. When they take it forward, I think our SDG 4, the agenda that we have of providing equitable learning opportunities, inclusive learning opportunities, creating lifelong learners, creating global citizens, will really be achieved. So I'm extremely thankful to all the presenters here who came in with their perspectives, came in with their thinking, and enlightened us about different aspects, the way they conceptualized it, the way they were able to process that information and bring forth to us about the Sustainable Development Goal 4, what the Global 2030 Agenda for SDG 4 is, and what is it that we have been able to do and where we are currently. So thank you. Those were my 2 little words. Thank you, Benita ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your insights have been profound and shall serve as a guiding force to one and all in the session. We eagerly await insights and reflection on the proceeding of this session. May I share Professor Manjula for the closing remarks.
Thank you. I have been a very lucky chair today. Professor Apurva has been, remarkable in summarizing and putting everything together. I could do it no better. I couldn't. I had written down a few things and to summarize, and now they're all, and above all, has been delivered to you. I have absolutely nothing to add. I would reiterate what she says. I would reiterate, because as we are sharing our deliberations at an international conference, we are to share even the smallest intervention that we have done in our classroom. So that is the thing that we want from all the presenters. And some of you started telling all these things, but then, in fact, the more of conceptualizations were the most highlighted aspects of this session. But I'm very happy, as Professor Apurva says, first, we have to sort of, understand the concepts. So we have done it, right? So now the SDG formulation has gone halfway towards 2030. So we have only 50% time to go forward. So it's high time that we do something and then see whether that, things work towards the goal. And so therefore, I wish all the presenters more encouragement, more inspiration to carry on with their research, more in a concrete, tangible, interventionist perspective, so that we could listen to you or read your publications from here onwards. And I thank everybody who supported this particular session, the co-convener, and my co-chair, everybody, and the presenters. So it was a nice afternoon, nice 2 hours. We made it on time, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Professor Manjula, for your insightful remarks. Your words have provided us with a profound perspective on the significance of this session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare to draw the curtains on this enlightening technical session at Ctpdcon-Era 2023, it is my pleasure to invite a distinguished individual among us, express our collective gratitude and appreciation for the valuable insight we have gained today. I invite Dr. Pravesh Lata, Head School of Education and Program Director, Digital Circle, CTPD. Ma'am, we would be honored if you could deliver the vote of thanks and expression of gratitude to the speakers and participants and summarize the essence of this session.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Binti. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
So good evening, distinguished guests and delegates, participants, ladies and gentlemen. So on the behalf of CTPD India, with a deep sense of gratitude, it's my immense privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for this enlightening technical session. Today, we have had the opportunity to delve into a wealth of knowledge and exchange insight in our quest to further the frontiers of technology and other areas. First and foremost, I would like to express my thanks to Dr. Manjula, Faculty of Education, Sri Lanka, and also to the Dr. Apurva, Assistant Professor, SNDT, Mumbai. Your dedication have been invaluable in enriching our understanding about the concerned theme. So your presentation, your information were not only informative, whatever you have concluded, but also inspiring, and it is setting a high standard for us to all to aspire to. And I also would like to thank Professor Tanya Gupta, and she has given the overview of the plenary sessions. And again, I also want to extend our appreciation to all the participants, all the presenter, audience, because your active engagement and your thought-provoking the questions were not so much, and the discussion have contributed significantly to the success of this session, and exchange of ideas and collaborative spirits in this technical session that really truly productive and enlightening experience. And my special thanks goes to our organizers for their tireless efforts, Minty Dua, making this event possible. And also I would like to acknowledge the hard work of the technical team, our event coordinators who were behind the scenes, who have ensured the smooth flow of this session. So in conclusion, I believe we can all leave here today with a great sense of knowledge, a broader perspective, and renewed motivation to excel in our respective field. So let us carry this inspiration from the session forward as we continue to push the boundaries of the education. So thank you once again to all who have made this technical session a success, and we look forward to your continuous support, and we hope to see you at future events. And thank you. Have a very great day. And thank you so much. Dr. Apurva and Dr. Manjula, it was really enlightening words which you have said to us. And really, I was thoroughly listening and thinking about the words, whatever you are delivering to the presenters. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Welcome. Yes.
So the feedback link is given in the chat box. So presenters are requested to, and participants are requested to fill the feedback form.
And with that, we conclude this remarkable technical session, knowledge session. Knowledge is a journey, not a destination, and each step brings you closer to new horizons. Thank you for your active participation and unwavering enthusiasm. Enjoy the rest of the session at the Ctpdcon-Era 2023, and may your pursuit of knowledge continue to shine bright. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, participants.
Thank you, ma'am. So participant, please fill the feedback form. Link is in the chat box.
It is requested to all the participants to please fill the form. It is in I go ahead and share to please share the participant name for the award.
Yes, Dr. Binti, you can connect to ma'am on phone, yes, or Dr. Apurva, because this is YouTube live, so you can't discuss here.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me close this meeting officially, signing off on behalf of CTPD India.